Welcome, everybody. This is the Geek and I Federation. Friday is back in the universe, and we have our normal talented two. We have Deb. How you doing, Deb?
I don't know about the talented part, but I'm here.
Okay, you are one of the two. And down underneath is Marty McGorn. How you doing, McGorn?
That's Gorn for just great.
Okay. All right, we're starting on a high note. So, first thing I want to do before we get into the shenanigans is I want to give out an apology to Carlos Bena. I think that's how you say his name. So 2 weeks ago, we did the what was it? The Squire of Gothos review.
Yes.
And at the beginning, we had a little talk about the short film unification. And there were comments in the chat from a Carlos Bena. And you know how the internet is, you don't really, I mean, how could you trust anything on the internet now, correct?
There too.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, I kind of played it aloof, putting his comments up and reading it. And then I was on Twitter or X or whatever it is, and I was scrolling through Robert Meyer Burnett's account, and there was Carlos Bena making comments on Robert Meyer Burnett's Twitter account, and I had tweeted also in reply to Robert. I had a guy in my chat room the other day, and he says his name was Carlos Bena. I could only hope it was the real one. But then I got this reply. I tweeted, not sure if it was him, but Carlos Bena was in my chat last night as we discussed unification. And this is the actual reply from Carlos that says, it was indeed me. I was able to pop in between meetings. It was great hearing the feedback on something we've been working on pretty much on the bubble for quite a while. Thanks for the warm, brief welcome. And that blew my mind. That blew my mind. And if I was a little more trustworthy, I would have invited him. I would have dug down deep and gotten more information, but I just couldn't trust. I just didn't have the guts to go with it. Because you hear about all these things that happen, and it's just when something like that happens. I mean, last week we had 3 people watching, and one of them was the director of the show. And the other 2 were on screen. So,
but if you look at it this way, a third of our audience is in the entertainment industry. So we're connecting at a pretty high percentage.
Yeah, we're at what do they call it? Warp factor 8. And then because that's what happens in this episode, right?
Yeah, we hit 8. And everybody just goes, okay.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah. So before we start with the actual episode, I wanted to say I apologize to Carlos. Anytime you want to come on the program, hang out in the chat, feel free. I won't make that mistake again. And thanks for tuning in. I don't know how you found us. It must have been you dropped your phone, and when you picked it up, you hit something on YouTube, and it just popped in. I don't know how you found it, but thanks for tuning in. It's really appreciated.
I think that I'm feeling lucky button on Google finally paid.
Was it the unlucky button? I don't know.
It was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it was. It was cool to get some of that information.
And thank you again for giving us such a wonderful piece of entertainment and a nice closure for both James T. Kirk and Spock. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched your fan edit today, John.
Oh, yeah.
It just made me cry all over again.
That's what most people are saying. And then you get the ones that are like, "Where's Bones?" I'm like, I didn't make the thing. I just did the music. So if you want to check that out, it's on the Geek and I YouTube channel. It's my biggest video yet, almost 36,000 views. So
awesome.
We'll see. But before we get into tonight's episode, which is, as if you couldn't tell from all the hints, it's about a little alligator named Gorn. So I wanted to play this. I think this might be something new that we start.
I just saw the title and I'm dying.
We might if I get the time to do it every week, we might do this. It's called Star Trek Raps, and it'll be about the episode that we are talking about. And tonight is Funky Cold Arena.
We're cruising through space, Enterprise in gear. Got a Starfleet call, there's trouble here. A colony's toast and we're hot on the trail. Yo, warp speed Spock, we can't fail. Suddenly zap, we're stuck in a trap. Dropped on a planet, what's up with that? The alien said, it's Kirk or Gorn. I'm like, yo, let's roll, I was starship born. Arena funky, that fight gets chunky. Kirk versus Gorn and the vibe's so funky. Arena funky, that's getting clunky. Stones and sticks, yo, the fight's so funky. Gorn rolls in, he's big, he's mean. A lizard-looking dude straight out of your dreams. 7 feet tall with a bite so sick, but Kirk grabs a branch, starts swinging that stick. The Gorn don't flinch, just a slow motion stare, but Kirk's too quick, he's out of there. Running through rocks, getting down with science, gonna make a boom with Chemical Alliance. Arena funky, that fight gets chunky. Kirk versus Gorn and the vibe's so funky. Arena funky, yo, it's looking spunky. Brains over broad, man, this fight's so funky. Sulfur and charcoal, mix it up tight. Kirk's cooking up a cannon ready to ignite. The Gorn steps up, all slow and steady, but Kirk's like, yo, my boomstick's ready. Boom goes the blast, the Gorn takes a hit. Kirk stands tall like, yeah, I'm legit. But mercy's the movie, let's Gorn go. That's why Kirk's the boss, man, didn't you know? Arena funky, that fight gets chunky. Kirk versus Gorn and the vibe's so funky. Arena funky, yo, it's feeling spunky. Brains over brawn, man, this fight's so funky. Kirk, yeah, Gorn hunt, a mercy wins, y'all. Now it's time to beam up. Funky, yeah, chunky. That arena fight was out of sight. Peace out, Gorn. Peace out, Gorn. Peace out, Gorn. Funky.
So that's Funky Cold Arena. I don't know. I was hoping the music was playing. Was the music playing?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I screw up things being a pro that I am.
You're muted, Marty.
Sorry. Yes, everything was good. Sorry, my environmental systems kicked in, and I didn't want the freight train sound again. It's like 32 degrees up here.
So that's Funky Gorn, Funky Cold Arena, and that'll be up on the YouTube page later. Full version. I love AI music generation. It makes it so much easier. All right, so that being done, we know what episode we're talking about. Let's bring up the slides for our presentation. Oh, wait, you know what I have here is I closed it out by mistake. We have you said, now these aren't your collectibles, are they, Marty?
I don't happen to have this garden gnome. Missed out on that one. I think I have that one. I think that's 2013.
And what is the magic sound? Is it just
Pretty much.
And this is pretty neat. This is everywhere.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. So let's get into the episode. We open up as you can tell from the Funky Cold Arena over this planet. What planet is this, Marty?
It looks like Krypton, but that is Cestus 3.
Oh, that's right, Cestus 3. Now, why does that sound familiar? Have we been there before? Do we go there again?
We have not, but Cestus 3 has been name dropped in various Star Trek series. I know they've mentioned it in Deep Space Nine. I think it's been mentioned in Discovery and possibly Lower Decks. So it pops up every once in a while.
And I tried to watch I guess it was the season finale of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
I couldn't get through it, but do they go to Cestus 3?
No, they're nowhere near Cestus 3.
And the Gorn are kind of like a predator alien hybrid now.
They're definitely xenomorph influenced for sure. It's one of my chief complaints about that show. Not that I have a lot, but we're 15 years before Kirk or 10 years before Kirk, and we've already had battles and wars with the Gorn. They've attacked colonies, so they're well known. And by the time we get to this, Kirk's like, Gorn, never heard of them.
Yeah.
I do have a theory that even in Enterprise, when the Gorn showed up, they didn't look anything remotely like this handsome fella here. So I'm wondering if they kind of adapt biologically because they were using humans as hosts. That it might explain the more humanoid appearance by the time this episode airs.
Okay.
And if anybody is a writer in Star Trek, feel free to use that one before I pull my hair out of my head with continuity.
Or maybe they come to Earth and they mate with they land in Louisiana.
Or yeah. I actually, this is Captain Izod, by the way.
Hold him up.
Wait, I'll do him in actual. Wait, I got to do it the reveal.
He has a lot more teeth than I remember.
These are all false. He's been in the industry a while. His cousin used to be on Land of the Lost. So the other theory I have about why the why the Gorn are so different, is there might be variants of the Gorn. There could be more humanoid-looking ones. There could be more reptilian-looking ones.
Right. Cestus 2, Cestus 1.
Mm-hmm. If we can have multiple layers of Klingons, I could go with multiple layers of Gorn.
Mm.
So I thought the episode opened a little bit weird with Kirk telling Bones, "You'll enjoy Commodore Travers."
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to enjoy about each other. Is it just the food?
He's
And
renowned through the galaxy for his Travers parties.
And he's got an interesting problem. I don't know what the. Maybe he needs a blue chew or something, or.
That's why McCoy's going. It's only available with prescription. Okay, now, anybody want to venture a guess who the first guy to die is?
Oh, you think? See,
Oh, what number are we up to? Isn't it 9 or something like that?
oddly enough, no, we're not.
Wow.
I was gonna
No?
save it for when we got there, but we might as well do that right now.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, oddly enough, we've only lost 3. This is the 18th episode?
19th, I think. Or I thought it was 19, but
No math.
I don't know, but we've lost more blue shirts than red shirts.
Oh, don't worry. They're going to ramp up soon.
So they beam down to Cestus 3, and there's like devastation everywhere. I see beryllium spheres that are on fire here in the corner. Oh, there's beryllium spheres everywhere.
Yeah, you got 2 up on the gates.
One down here. And they're hiding behind a beryllium sphere.
Spock is still learning how to hide. So this is better. He's in front of behind a solid object now.
Yeah. And Hurley, stick with me. You'll be safe. Just like the guys last week. Or was that 2 weeks ago?
I think
That was Galileo 7, where Spock sacrificed everybody. So do we know who this dude is? Is he just a gray shirt?
I think he worked with the Commodore in the main office, more or less. So he's all screwed up.
Yeah, he's in pretty bad shape. He's in shock, radiation burns, and internal injuries, and he is certain for that. And they're being fired upon now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here goes O'Hurley,
who took a page out of the How to Hide book by Spock, stands up in the middle of an open field.
And there he goes.
He may have shot himself. We don't see anything hit him.
He's like, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to end it quick.
Yeah.
So now there's a unidentified ship coming in, and they're firing phasers at it. It's a good way to say hi.
Oh, the Vulcan hello.
Yeah. And I thought this was pretty neat. Was Kirk was like, "Let us go. Don't worry about us. Just keep my damn ship safe."
And Sulu puts up one hell of a fight. Okay, boss. So, interesting enough, these explosion scenes, this action sequence I thought was great. Nimoy, DeForest Kelley, and especially William Shatner were far too close to the explosives when they went off and wound up with hearing problems for the rest of their lives. And they blame this episode. To this day, Shatner suffers from severe tinnitus that developed after filming this episode.
Wow. Now I was gonna ask, being not having seen the original version, were these enhanced in any way, or these were the exact explosions?
Yep.
That they used on set.
Yep, that's all practical effects.
So Kirk is upset that he's not on the ship. Is this kind of what leads into that what they did in Gen, where it was first officer that always goes down and the captain stays behind? Do they ever mention when they start that? Because you got the three most important guys on the ship down on the planet now.
That doesn't happen until Generations, right?
Yeah.
So my understanding that officially that's how it should have always worked. But Mr. By the Book kind of never went with that. But in some of the background materials, the novels and stuff, his first captain, Captain Garavik, was very much like that, and kind of Kirk's mentor and hero, that he would always insist on leading a landing party.
So what does that say? Life support ramp 3 level K. And we're running and we're falling. Oh, sorry. I don't know how that got in there. Sorry
I
about
thought that sign said, "Do not back up, severe tire damage."
Yeah, you weren't supposed to see that one. I don't know how that one got in there. So then so then we have Spock. He does a Kirk roll.
It actually looks like he's in the middle of breakdancing.
Oh, is he that Australian breakdancer from the Olympics? So who was carrying this thing, or was it just happened to be in the hole that they were in?
No, they were heading to the armory, and once they got there,
who grabbed this? I didn't see any of them carrying it when they were rolling around in the dirt.
He asked Spock where it was, and then one of the security guys ran to the armory. So I think that the security guard ran to the armory to get this box of Christmas ornaments that they're now going to launch at the Gorn.
And the Gorn have learned from Obi-Wan, take the high ground. So then Kirk asks, "What do you think?" And I don't remember this dude's name because he doesn't die. He says, "If I were them, I'd go to the high ground, to the right." So he's one-upping Obi-Wan. So after a big battle, which was actually pretty cool, it was a pretty cool scene for what it was.
Yeah, I'd love to know what kind of weapon that was that made such a display, yet left all the trees and everything intact.
Well, he called it a grenade.
Well, whatever it was, it scared the Gorn off. It was like great. They all beam up and take off.
It was a Gornade.
Are we going to start with the Gorn puns early? Because after that attack, they were Gorn with the wind.
Yes. And then did you notice, I don't know, I had to watch this a couple of times because I thought, you know, when you hit buttons on the ship, each button made a sound, but when Sulu went through all the keys, it was just...
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, were they asleep at the sound effects department or...
I think he accidentally set the console for do not disturb. So that's why it wasn't making any noises. Yeah, they clearly missed the sound effects. And here's Putty Face.
David Putty?
David. Feels like a Gorn kind of day.
So he says no message came from them. So who sent the message?
The Gorn.
So they set a trap.
They said they were setting up a trap. Yep.
Who knew they were that brilliant? They were only as quick moving as they were quick thinking. The series would have ended right here. So here we get the big chase scene, and the Gorn go to warp 6.
So they got some technology.
Yeah. So we have warp factor 7, and then everybody is like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" Now,
It feels like he told them to go to ludicrous speed.
yeah, it's like,
But Scotty looks like he's about to shit himself.
yeah. So Mark D with a C is in the chat, and I guess he's talking about Silly Putty, which probably looked great, you know, like he says on our TVs back in the late 60s, early 70s. It probably looked awesome, especially
Yes,
when you have the rabbit ears and you only have like half signal, and it's...
Yeah, sometimes remastering is not a makeup artist's best friend, that's for sure.
So we have Scotty. He's a little worried here. So we're getting all weapons ready to fire. And Uhura's just got her scanning beams. And the aliens slow down, and they come to a dead stop. And they think he's going to turn the fight, but what are we seeing here? What is happening here? They turn around and face each other, and are they going to try and talk to one another, and they just get interrupted?
No, I think Kirk's ready to close in for the kill.
But there's a crash into something, and they come to a stop. And apparently they're all dead. Or maybe just the computers are dead.
Yeah, they're all screwed up. Wherever it is that stopped them. Oh yeah, it was this light thing.
Now, would you have liked it better if everything was just shut off? If they say that, you know, they're dead in the water, have everything just turned off, like turn off all the screens and all the lights and stuff?
They've done it before. I don't know why they didn't do it here.
And then we have what, I don't even know what this is.
It's Metatron. Runs.
This is a psychedelic hallucination, is what that is.
We are the Metrons. And who knew that they would be young emo aliens in flowing clothing
with godlike powers?
Yes, again, like how many times is that this already this season? Is that like 3 or 4, 5 times?
Easily. And guess whose name is attached to this script? So yes, we have yet another godlike race who eventually will be part of the what is it, the Court of Gods or whatever the hell they're doing in the comic books now. So yes, another very, very super powerful race of beings.
So they're chastising the humans for coming into the into their area, or their space, with a mission of violence. So did they just create this planet? Well, I know, and Kirk says it's an asteroid later on, right?
I don't remember if he said asteroid or planetoid, but they formed some kind of livable atmosphere for the both of them to go down.
And they give him a recording device and a translator. And he can't talk to the ship. And then he gives them the hint that, hey, there's stuff on the planet you can make weapons out of. And the loser, along with his ship, will be destroyed in the interest of peace. That's kind of a contradiction, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess when you're godlike, shimmering in a shower curtain, standing on a rock, you can make those kind of declarations.
Yeah. And then once again,
do you know what this effect reminds me of? Remember when you were a kid, those cardboard tubes the kaleidoscope things with the little hole, and you look them up and you twist them. That's exactly what this reminds me of.
Yeah. And you always wanted one of those for Christmas. And now what? Now what do they want? They want a PS5. Well, you'll be lucky you get a kaleidoscope. And then we have the amazing effect of just disappearing. But this one didn't make any noise, except for Uhura in the background, where she screamed. And then Marty, what is the Gorn saying here? Which means,
hey, what are you doing here?
You come here often?
And here's my favorite reveal in all of Star Trek. He whips around at top speed and then lumbers for the rest of the episode. It's almost as if that turnaround, that 360, really took it out of him. So
now, did you notice they digitized the eyelids?
Yes, which was a nice touch. Now, even as a kid, I wondered, are those actual eyes, or are they like eye protectors or something? Or, because rock hard diamond shaped eyes is not usually found on earth lizards. So I gotta say, this could have been a lot worse.
Right.
And this design resonated with people because I think if you showed a picture of this Gorn to people, they know exactly where it was from. They might not know the name of the race, but they know, oh, that's a thing from Star Trek that Captain Kirk fought. So he kind of got absorbed into the zeitgeist here.
Yeah. And I've seen. I was gonna pull it, but I didn't have time to. But there was a commercial for Star Trek: The Game.
I think I sent it to you. I think it's in the chat. Yes.
With Shatner and but my chat's gone, so Shatner and the Gorn sitting on a couch.
And they start fighting it, and the Gorn still is slow as shit, which is hysterical.
So,
or maybe this was just a really old Gorn. Maybe this was like our equivalent of a 90-year-old,
So the special editions, they digitize the eyes, and in the original he didn't have the eyelids, right?
No.
And in the original, did he have the ascot?
Yes, that's, you could say what you will about them, but they are very fancy dressers. Yeah, that's the captain of a ship who's basically going around in a mankini and an ascot. So that is actually supposed to represent animal skin of something they killed.
Okay, it does kind of look like a snake.
Yeah.
I am facing the captain of an alien ship. He's a large reptilian.
Gorn did not skip leg day.
he really worked those calves, didn't he? Oh, I'm getting cramps just looking at him. The captain of a starship like myself. I'm going to climb this tree and grab a twig while he grabs a branch.
Okay. So you caught that too. And I'm wondering if there was any subtext to this with the Gorn carrying this gigantic stick. And to me, it feels like there's a little emasculation here at this point.
I'm going to climb up and get the smallest one at the top.
Can't break it off. Okay, and now we start with some of the finest examples of Kirk Fu in galactic history. The double axe handle kidney punch. This one moves slower than Obi-Wan in the first Star Wars movie. Like, he's shuffling, he's throwing haymakers that wouldn't land in a week.
That's his punches are on the Spirit Airlines schedule. They're always late. But then we get
Don't pay good money to see him fight Tyson. Now, oddly enough, a creature like this clearly has advantages, like those 2 rows of very, very sharp, bitey teeth, and yet he doesn't use them to his advantage.
Yeah, and he just flicks them, and you would think he would like bite his neck here, you know?
Get a room, guys.
But I like when he gives him the pops his eardrums.
You mean when he boxes his non-existent ears?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kirk throws a little rock, and it bounces off of the Gorn, right?
Yep.
So the Gorn goes and picks up.
Okay, again, tiny pebble, huge rock.
Luckily, he was able to dodge it.
Well, he was on the Academy dodgeball team, so.
Yes, so. So I'm trying to figure out what the closed captioning was trying to say here. Is that animate? Emanate?
Yeah.
They report okay, I get
They
it now.
emanate from the solar system ahead. Yeah.
Yes. I thought this was hilarious too. I'm fighting this creature, and he's already withstood attacks from me that would have killed an ordinary man. No, they wouldn't have. I'm
Maybe
sorry.
An ordinary elderly man, but, or a small child, but I don't think anybody's ever died from a double axe handle and a missed kick.
The agility, and I hope cleverness is mine. And the Metrons sound like a new age band. Has there ever been a band named the Metrons?
If there isn't, there definitely should be. Trelane and the Metrons.
They could share clothing.
Look like Paul Revere in the Raiders. So here he is, badmouth the court captain. He's not agile. I'm more clever. Like, believe me, I could take him. Totally could take him. Like, come on.
Yeah,
He
Kirk.
basically insults his species. All humans have an instinctual repulsiveness to reptiles. Yeah.
I could take him. I'm smarter, more agile, He's just stronger. I have no chance. It's like, pick a side.
Seriously, look at this pose. All I can think of him singing Rocket Man into that microphone. Packed your bags last night. Pre-flight.
Pre-flight. Rocket Man. So, I guess bamboo is on every planet. Can't get away.
Not just bamboo, but nicely cut, equally length bamboo.
Right? Do you think they borrowed that from Gilligan's Island?
Right studio over, yeah.
And this rock formation, where do they? Is this? Oh, okay. I was. You know what? There's that scene where he's running up the hill.
That's Vasquez Rock, I believe it's called. Very famous.
And they do that in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, right?
They did it in that. They did it in one of the Jay and Silent Bob movies. It's been featured in a lot of movies. We almost got a Gorn upskirt here. Jesus.
So what is he doing with the string? I mean, he didn't tie it together, so the string comes tied together.
So he's basically making a Wile E. Coyote trap for Captain. I just pictured the other end of a box and a twig holding it up.
So this place is full of precious stones, and we run into diamonds, and there's nothing he can do with the diamonds because there's no chicks to hit on, and
diamonds are Gorn's best friend.
So this is the shot that I was thinking of, where they get the close up and then they pull back, quickly. And this was a cool location to film in.
Yeah, go back. What is that odd structure below him, just to the right? It looks like a sign or something.
This one?
Yeah.
It says no climbing on rocks.
Metrons didn't want to get sued.
Yeah. Spelunk at your own. So yeah, he is putting together an Acme Kirk trap.
Meep. I swear to God, it looks like Kirk and the Gorn are carrying lightsabers through this entire episode.
Yeah. Until the end, I didn't realize what that was. And I was like, when I was watching it again to do the grabs, I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. It's
mine keeps buzzing. No, turn it off.
I have a Gorn chasing me. I guess my battery's dead. So we go to the top of the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's this one lone rock being held up by a little rock, but the little rock is on the wrong side to hold the big rock up.
Now he's doing total Roadrunner.
Yeah.
There's the Gorn, just minding his business, building his trap.
Yeah, humans are so violent.
Yeah. All I wanted to do was talk, and he threw a rock at me.
He's got that smile on his face, like, yeah, I crushed him. So he tries to sneak up on the Gorn, but he's not too quick because he said he was agile.
Mm-hmm. And apparently blind, because you can see that rope from a mile away.
And there's the rope trap he's setting up.
Mm-hmm. Why is he looking behind him? Okay, simple physics. That's a broken hip all day long.
Yeah. And then the Gorn slowly, step by step. So what does he do? He lifts the rock off of him, and then Kirk immediately escapes.
We see some tears in the costume there.
Mm.
So he's looking for the weapon, and apparently it's he can't figure out what needs the sulfur for, and isn't sulfur smelly?
Rotten eggs, yes.
So is that what clues him in? And then we have the ship is watching on pay-per-view.
I made the same joke to my daughter before.
Luckily, it's
$15.
luckily it wasn't on Netflix, so they could watch it.
Yeah, but that shot of the Gorn's ass was totally unnecessary. How did Uhura get through Starfleet with these reactions? Like, like you're so horrified.
So now, what's the white powder he's found? He's found the Gorn's stash. Is that?
Sulfur and cocaine. It reminds me of something.
A good time with an Orion.
I know. I'm got to get him high. Well,
So
actually,
now,
belongs to the Gorn, but later on you'll find out that the Metrons actually pardoned him. So all's forgiven.
right.
The Gorn sing your favorite hits. Such classics as and who could forget?
That was the top 10 hit.
Going all the way to number 1.
So here we learn why the Gorn attacked.
But not why Spock is wearing bright pink lipstick.
And is he blowing a bubble?
I think he's biting his lip.
I taste wonderful. Fascinating.
So now Dr. Budinsky comes up and decides he's going to just start talking to the Metrons. No one authorized the doctor to say, a word. But he's right. So technically, it looks like the Federation is in the wrong in this matter.
Right. Yeah. And maybe that would have been somewhere for them to start in Strange New Worlds, is establishing their outpost on Cestus 3. I don't know, and then you just tie it in. I don't understand why you need to have to go in and change. Everything doesn't need to be updated.
That costume still works for me. That design still works for me.
Yeah, and you could. I mean, if you wanted to do something in CG, you could do something that looked really good in that vein in CG.
I would even do full bodysuit and just do some of the facial reactions in CG.
Yeah, like the Predator.
Don't give them any more ideas, or the Gorn will start turning invisible. There's a snake in my boot. Oh no, that's a rope.
So excited here. Spock is excited that Kirk has figured out what he's building. And I guess they weren't watching when he found the sulfur before. So he says, hopefully he can find some sulfur. And Kirk is limping around. And this... do we see where the Gorn gets this sharp?
That's what he was working on the rocks.
Oh, is that he was?
He had all the rocks, and he was breaking them and kind of sharpening them against each other. So he's got a nice piece of obsidian rock.
And the diamonds, we're going to shove the diamonds in there. And McCoy, being the scientist, and I guess, I don't know, would a doctor know that makes gunpowder? I mean, McCoy was in enough Westerns to realize that, right?
I would say a 20th century doctor might not remember that, but somebody who is a specialist in xenobiology and molecular biology and chemistry would probably recall that. I always thought it would have been funnier if Spock's like, he's got it. And at the end, you see that, Kirk has just built a bong or something. And he's like, oh. So close. So close.
And then him and the Gorn are hanging out.
Yeah.
So he puts everything in the tube. And he runs up and then he dumps it out on the rock. And I guess you don't really need to be specific with your measurements.
I'm pretty sure you do.
So he's just like, oh, that's too much. That sounds good. Let's bring this all together.
Pinch. What's a pinch of sulfur? It's a butter churn, of course.
Gorn is lactose intolerant.
I'm going to give him, I'm going to clog his artery.
So then we use the communicator translator lightsaber to create a spark. So now he's got flint.
And he's got some metal
and the Gorn comes over the hill and he's saying, you're sleeping. Yeah. And then boom.
We come in peace.
You leave in pieces.
Okay. look at the Looney Tunes. And how many times have we seen Elmer Fudd shotgun do that?
That is true.
Now, I think they missed an opportunity here. I would have loved to have seen the eyelids about halfway down the eyes after being shot in the face with a bunch of diamonds, like semi-conscious.
Or at least diamonds, you know, like,
Well,
like
he's
who,
got one sticking
who was
out
that?
of his armpit.
Yeah, and the blood.
There's blood.
Yeah. So he got him. And now he's going to run him through, and he decides. Like, I guess this was like the Luke Skywalker scene, right? Where
Don't throw your rock away.
he's, good. Good. Your hate has made you powerful. Or, as this guy would be saying, your hate has made you powerful.
The overdubbing on this drives me nuts. So that is an actress that they overdubbed with a gentleman to kind of give it a ethereal sense, like you couldn't figure out whether it's a boy or a girl or something celestial. But I'm sorry, those ballet slipper strap shoes there and the dress kind of, you know.
So you're still half savage.
How very enlightened.
Yeah. And then they're talking about the gunpowder and everything, and the Cestus 3, and what are they going to do? And then blink, Kirk is back.
Not only back, but cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he went the galactic transport car wash and shower.
All right.
And
He
he's
just came back from vacation.
did he lose his shirt?
No,
No.
it was messy though.
Just dirty.
Yeah, is this the one episode he doesn't fight and lose his shirt? So Frederick Brown, he wrote when they say he wrote the story, is that was this based on something, or did he just write, you know, notes down in a book at lunchtime and they decided to turn it into an episode?
So what happened with this? I did a little research on this. Gene Kuhn wrote the script from beginning to end. And right before they were to go into production, somebody pointed out that the story was extremely similar to a book that Frederick Brown had written. And it was totally just parallel thinking. It wasn't anything more than that. So they reached out to him, and I think Gene Kuhn reached out to him, writer to writer, and said, you know, totally parallel. We don't want to be sued. And he basically said, that's fine. It happens. Just give me story by credit. And so you could use your version. And that's how that happened.
Now, I mean, that's what happened with our Voyager episode.
No, what happened with that is the car was bugged. I'm still confused.
You think so? Okay.
It was too similar. That car was bugged.
But I think that is true. I think there is a cloud of ideas that float around, and some people have the sense to to hear that or be able to just see that cloud and pull their ideas out of it, even though, you know, 3 or 4 people might have the same thing, but only one's going to have the drive to do it. And apparently we didn't have the drive to do it.
And if that show had just lasted another 15 to 20 years, we would have got around to it.
But yeah, so what did you think of the arena? Deb, 1 to 10.
I'd probably give it a 7 because it made me laugh a lot with the Gorn noises and the weird fighting, the slow motion fighting. It was a fun episode for me.
Yeah, the Gorn must have just had shoulder surgery, so he wasn't moving that quick in the swings.
Yeah, I even tried to think of a scientific reason. I said maybe they're so strong and thick and muscular because they come from a heavier gravity. But if they come from a heavier gravity, then they should be moving even faster, not slower.
So they're on a lighter planet.
Yep. So I think the lesson here is just pray to God that you're not transported by superior beings after sitting down and gorging yourself on Taco Bell, because you're not going to be able to. You're not going to have any agility or foot speed.
Well, it's actually the moral I think is pay less attention to leg day. You know, maybe upper body once in a while.
Or don't shoot your entire load spinning around. You know, out, man. If you know that's all you got.
I can turn once.
Slowly turning around would have been more effective, but nope. Yeah. I love this episode. With the exception of the Metrons, who I think again feel kind of, I don't know, kind of like,
is he using a godlike creatures as a crutch? Yeah. Now, maybe, and I have not seen the original script, but maybe it would have been better if both ships become disabled and both captains agree to go down to discuss it, and then the Gorn springs this is how we discuss things on my world. It's a challenge of champions. And then find out that Kirk doesn't kill him at the end, and maybe earn his respect a little bit. Yeah. But instead of having a magical being send them down to fight.
Yep.
Because then it becomes like the old days. I speak from experience when you have 2 factions on the school bus. One is egging you on, one is egging your friend on to fight each other. And then you get off the bus and you both like standing at the bus stop going, why are we fighting? You're my friend.
Yep. So I think I'm sad that we never got to see the Gorn again in the original series. Like I said, classic design, beautifully shot. I think they really utilized the exterior stuff to their advantage here. It didn't feel like and this could have very easily been filmed on one of the planet sound stages, but they took the time. They went out. They got out in nature, and I think it helps it more because it does make it feel more primeval. It's 2 beings out in the middle of nature with just what's out there to kind of build their weapons and the defenses and really show what they're capable of.
And they never make another appearance. Do they get mentioned again, or
not in the original series? And I don't believe Next Gen. I could be wrong. If they did, it may have been just one mention. you know, the one thing that I did love about Discovery is when they found Captain Lorca's hidden room, and there was a full Gorn skeleton in the trophy room, and I was like, "Oh man, a Gorn! I can't believe it!" And then sadly, we saw what they did with them. But even when Enterprise brought him back, I was psyched that the Gorn were going to come back. And then when I saw it, I was like, "Oh no, it's just a Velociraptor in a tunic."
Yeah, and who was, thinking about what you said is like you don't know if they did it on Deep Space Nine, but I mean, what is it? 100 years between the two series?
It's over 100, but yeah.
What's to say that the Gorn weren't conquered by somebody? And I mean, I could see Tosk being a Gorn, and that's why they like, he enjoys the chase and the hunt.
Yeah, I mean, they love to fight. So like the Gorn, the Gorn and the Klingons, I thought would have been a great rivalry, with the Federation in the middle. But again, I guess, if it wasn't a humanoid alien, Star Trek kind of shied away from them, and that's kind of sad because I do really think they hit it out of the ballpark with this one. You're going to tell me that those two giant-headed aliens in the Federation chamber and Star Trek 4 who look like dolls were, any better than the Gorn?
Right. Or the cat lady with the 3 boobs.
Or the cat lady with the 3 boobs. There was plenty of room to bring them back, and they didn't. And now we're getting them back by popular demand. Not quite the Gorn I hope to see, but who knows? We may reach that point down the line.
Yeah, it would be nice. I did like this episode. This is one of those that, again, I've seen countless times in bits and pieces and never sat down to watch it all the way through. I could have done without probably half of the stuff on the bridge. I think maybe you check in on them every now and then, and you don't have the pay-per-view of them watching type of thing, but I mean,
half the cast sitting around watching an episode of Star Trek.
Yeah,
The main viewer. Yeah.
I mean, was that a way to bump up the ratings? Have your
Great news. We're number 1 in bridge command teams ages 18 to 175. So yeah, that's the demographic we want, people.
Yeah, this to me. This was I would probably go a 7 on this one as well. It was good. It might be one that I watch again. It'd be interesting to see what Strange New Worlds does with it, because that was a cliffhanger, correct?
Yes.
With the Gorn, so we'll see what season 3 opens with, and we'll check it out. And what is next week's episode? What is your preview? Your thoughts on next week? Next week is Court Martial.
Okay, so after the expense of doing a location shoot, we're back very much to a bottle show, more or less. Interesting. We get a little bit more background on Kirk, his time at the Academy, friendships he had, which will never be mentioned again. So again, we're building more in the character that we'll eventually ignore. Not bad. Great performances. Elijah Cook Jr., who was in everything in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and up to the 80s. has a very memorable turn as Samuel T. Cogley, space lawyer, which really should have been the spinoff of Star Trek Return. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it's more of it's more of like Law and Order in space.
Oh, okay. So I need that sound effect for my board. Okay.
Yeah, or JAG, excuse me, because I think they actually refer to them as JAG officers. So Starfleet has a Judge Advocate General office.
Oh, JAG. The JAG-offs. Okay.
Yeah, JAG-offs.
I get it.
One last thing I would add to this episode, apparently Mythbusters did an episode where they tried to recreate the bamboo cannon with horrific results. And they determined that the explosion would have killed Kirk almost instantly. There's no way the bamboo would work as a cannon.
No.
What did you say the episode for next week is?
Court martial?
Court martial.
That is not what comes up on my TV because I always click next episode and it's tomorrow's yesterday or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, tomorrow's yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow's yesterday.
Court martial's the one after. that.
Right. I'm a week ahead on my rap songs.
I guess we're not doing production order, air date order again, are we?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one I don't seek out. This is one that I don't rewatch.
It's a time travel episode, right?
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I enjoy a good time travel episode. This ain't one of them. There's a lot of very convenient plot devices thrown in that make absolutely zero effing sense.
All right, so we'll see you guys next week. This for Federation Friday. I don't know. Do you guys want to watch it one more time?
Go ahead, fire it up.
Number 5.
We're cruising through space, Enterprise in gear. Got a Starfleet call, there's trouble here. A colony's toast and we're hot on the trail. Yo, warp speed Spock, we can't fail. Suddenly zap, we're stuck in a trap. Dropped on a planet, what's up with that? The alien said, it's Kirk or Gorn. I'm like, yo, let's roll, I was starship born. Arena funky, that fight gets chunky. Kirk versus Gorn and the vibe's so funky. Arena funky, that's getting clunky. Stones and sticks, yo, the fight's so funky. Gorn rolls in, he's big, he's mean. A lizard looking dude straight out of your dreams. 7 feet tall with a bite so sick. But Kirk grabs a branch, starts swinging that stick. The Gorn don't flinch, just a slow motion stare. But Kirk's too quick, he's out of there. Running through rocks, getting down with science. Gonna make a boom with Chemical Alliance. Arena funky, that fight gets chunky. Kirk versus Gorn and the vibe's so funky. Arena funky, yo, it's looking spunky.
I had to put it in Benny Hill speed.
So funky, sulfur and charcoal, mix it up tight. Kirk's cooking up a cannon ready to ignite. The Gorn steps up, all slow and steady. But Kirk's like, yo, my boomstick's ready. Boom goes the blast, the Gorn takes a hit. Kirk stands tall like, yeah, I'm legit. But Mercy's the movie, let's Gorn go. That's why Kirk's the boss, man, didn't you know? Arena funky, that fight
Also,
gets
very
chunky.
convenient that he has no idea where his heart is. I was going to penetrate him with it.
What was that?
He's about to impale him to kill him. Has no idea where his heart is.
He's just gonna shove it in his shoulder.
And hope for the best. Yeah.
Arena funky, yo, it's feeling.
Well, not all aliens keep their genitals in the same place.
Yes, we learned that from the family.
So funky. A Mercy wins, y'all. Now it's time to beam up. Funky, chunky. That arena fight was out of sight. Peace out, boy. Peace out, boy. Peace out, boy.
All right, that we'll wrap it up for Federation Friday this week. We will see you next week for the episode. Tomorrow is yesterday, right? No apostrophe S.
Tomorrow is yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. We will see you then. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for watching. We were up to a total of, I think we had 10 people at one time.
Wow.
That's why we kept. I'm good at that, aren't I?
All I could say is
Thanks. Appreciate it.
that's Gorn for thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on the Geek and I podcast.